Okay, have you got your Vorpal sword in hand? And are your Momraths out grabe?
Beware the jub bird and shun the fumious bandersnatch.
'Cause I'm reviewing Ever After High, Way to Wonderland. The show, movie, whatever it is, starts with resident Section 8 Maddie being warned of a plot against the Queen of Hearts by... the narrators.
Bull.
So the storybook gang has to save the good Queen of Hearts.
Also bull.
Well, at least she says off with their heads a whole bunch. But how to get to the topsy-turvy land of illogic?
Why, the powers of darkness, of course.
Exactly. But Raven still needs a hand from Mummy Dearest, who's trapped in an extra-dimensional prison. But after she transports the gang through a rabbit hole, the girls get apprehended by a guy called the Red Knight, who's the attendance officer at Wonderland High School. So the team needs to escape the loony institution by passing classes. But there's one major roadblock. The main villain, Courtly Jester, who's student body president, vice principal, and principal all in one. The villainous Harlequin plans on stealing Lizzie's destiny by signing the future Queen of Hearts page in Ever After's major plot thingamajig, the Storybook of Legends. But with a helping hand from the White Knight and the narrator, the heroes escape and head for the Queen of Hearts palace, just behind Courtly, who's got a book of evil magic tricks to help her steal the Book of Destiny. But it's cool, the powers of darkness save the day again, in the form of a magic duel between Raven and Courtly. You know, this may be the best one of these things yet. First off, it's actually a decent length. At 4 24-minute episodes, it's around a movie lengthwise, but it's paced like a TV show. Each episode has an individual arc to it, but it still flows well enough. The plot, though, is kind of a mixed bag. Basically, the gang needs to do one fairly simple job: warn the Queen of Hearts. But then they just keep adding on random plot points, characters just show up and then leave without actually doing anything, outside forces keep interfering with events, and it's all kind of a mess. But a colorful and entertaining mess.
I didn't accept that excuse for Jackson Pollock. I certainly won't now.
The root of the problem is pretty obvious. Way to Wonderland has way too many characters.
Yeah, Private, it's like they're trying to hawk a toy line or something.
Now, all the characters are likable and distinctive, even if Raven, Maddie, Lizzie, and newcomer Darling are the only ones who actually do anything. They bend over backwards to try and get Apple and Kitty to contribute, and Briar, the little narcoleptic, contributes both and all. In keeping with the convoluted mess of a plot, we have two villains, Courtly Jester and the Evil Queen. We really need a name for her. Betty. Betty's whole plan is to get Raven to go over to the dark side by arranging circumstances that require her to use her evil powers. Now, even though she's pulling from the Sith Lord playbook, Betty doesn't really do anything other than just push a book off a shelf here and there. Now, I know she's trapped in the Phantom Zone or whatever, but still. Maybe it would have worked better if we weren't shown that Betty was directly behind everything. Courtly, on the other hand, just doesn't command attention, or feel like a real threat. She's just there being evil. Also, she can't seem to decide whether she has a posh accent or if she's actually the daughter of Bert the Chimney Sweep. On the good side, they actually use the Wonderland characters this time. We see the White Rabbit, the Walrus, the Carpenter, the Queen of Hearts, the Red Queen.
Well done for not combining them.
And even more obscure characters like Bill the Lizard and the Mock Turtle. Art design-wise, Ever After High is stylish as always, even if everything is over-designed to the max. That's less of a big deal with the environments because Wonderland still looks pretty good. But the girls' new outfits are the kind of thing that even Rarity would say is too much. Now let's talk about the best part of the show, the final smackdown between Courtly and Raven. It's great fun. Even if it doesn't live up to the high standard of T-Rac vs. Twilight, it's still better than Human Main 6 vs. Demon Sunset, and almost as good as Rainbooms vs. Dazzlings. But that one had better music.
Well, that's a segue if I've ever heard one.
Yep. There's a song in Way to Wonderland. Not actually from any of the characters, just a transition between Storybrooke and Wonderland. And it's actually pretty good. It's got a nice beat that sets the tone for the adventure to come. And it has a lot of energy. But they do name drop the series like a whole bunch. Okay, now it's time to break down the good and the bad in Ever After High, Way to Wonderland. On the good side, it has colorful and likable characters that are fun to watch travel the surreal setting of Wonderland. and interact with its deranged residents. There's a nice upbeat song, and they end with an awesome action scene. On the downside, the plot is a convoluted wreck that runs on some really bizarre meta-narrative.
Or were you fighting with the narrator?
There are way too many characters, and the villains are ineffective. But that didn't stop me from enjoying this miniseries movie thingy. And if anything I've mentioned sounds interesting, I would definitely recommend Way to Wonderland. But I still give it a 3.5 out of 5. Now, if you're interested in more reviews of anime, movies, TV shows, comic books, or video games, check out my channel on YouTube at StupidPrivate913, or find my Facebook and Deviantart pages for video updates and more. Thank you for watching.
Hey kids, today
He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the maxim foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in umphish thought he stood, the Jabberwock, with eyes aflame, came waffling through the tulgey wood, and burbling as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumping.